Hey. It's Tuesday, it's Tuesday, it's Tuesday, it's Tuesday, it's Tuesday, it's Tuesday.
It's our favorite day.
Hey,
It's our favorite day.
hey,
It's our favorite day.
hey.
It's our favorite day. It's Tuesday. It's Tuesday. It's Tuesday. It's Tuesday.
It's our favorite day.
Ah,
It's our favorite day.
I love
Y'all
it.
know we from Baltimore, so that has to we gonna make that a comment.
Right. Oh, fast. 30 guns up. Ah, 30 guns up. Oh, no, we're not throwing our guns up no more. Hug your neighbor. Ah. All right, guys, this is the Connected Corner, and we are excited to have you here on this amazing Tuesday. I'm your girl, Tori Rose, and
I'm Kiana B. Jones.
And we are excited to talk about a very needed topic, something that is not getting nearly as much attention as it should, especially not in Black and Brown communities. We have amazing guests, but before we introduce our guests and get into the meat and potatoes, we want to just say thank you to our guests who were here last week, the amazing Marcus Dent and the amazing Sarah Wallace. We talked about community and why people serve, how they serve, and what does it really mean to be a part of a larger community.
Absolutely. And if you did not see that show last week, you can watch it on the replay on the Connected Corner YouTube. So if you're watching from YouTube now, hit subscribe, hit notification. If you're watching from Facebook, go to YouTube, type in the Connected Corner, and you can watch the show with Marcus and Sarah on the replay.
Yes, and hit replay. So even if you're watching this show on the replay, if you catch it later, type in replay in the comments. We want to hear from you. Hey, Carly, we are so excited. I look forward to seeing Carly's name pop up on the show every Tuesday. So thank you for being a good sister, for always rocking with us. And we are just excited. We want to give a shout out to our producer and our sister girl, Meech at Nick of Time Media. So if you guys are not following Nick of Time, it's NIK of Time. Look them up. They're on Facebook. They're on Instagram, doing big things. We also want to give a shout out to
Radio on Fire, our other media partner, and WMEG Radio. So you can follow them on Instagram and Facebook. So we thank our partners for continue to support us, and we're looking forward to doing bigger and better things in 2021.
Most certainly. I want to give a shout out to our brothers at We Our Us, who lost an influential, very important part of their organization, a pastor who helped basically create the organization and or at least has rallied in a large way. So we're sending our condolences to them while they grieve. We also want to shout out FACE organization at 1645 North Calhoun Street. So guys, make sure that you are getting these resources. FACE is out providing food, providing COVID tests. They're a transitional home for incarcerated brothers and sisters who are coming home. They're also offering housing for people who are just displaced between housing. So check out FACE, FACE. All right, I think we got all our checks. Check.
check. And stay tuned. Make sure you let us know where you're watching us from. YouTube, Facebook, Baltimore, DC. Let us know where you are, where you're watching us. And so we're ready.
We're ready. So autism and autism awareness, as well as mental health awareness and just being overall healthy, is something that's extremely important to us. We do have autistic family members. I think that for our family, when we started understanding that autism was not mental retardation, it was not Down syndrome, it was not some of these things that the community wanted to label it. All of us kind of took a hands-on learning, right? How do we be more supportive for our loved ones? How do we use transitional words? How do we come against the stigma in churches and other places when your loved one is maybe feeling a little uncomfortable or isn't transitioning well? And so I know that this topic is near and dear to our hearts.
Yes, it is.
And you want to talk about who we got on today?
Yeah, so we have two amazing guests with us today. And ladies first, so we're going to start with the lady.
Come on, ladies. Oh, I'm a single lady. Oh, I'm a single lady. Even though I'm not sure if she's a single lady. You know how I said,
right.
Sliding her DM.
Right.
It's just for fun.
Right. Only if she invite you. Okay.
Right.
Only if she invite you. But we have Miss Isla Angel with us today, and so she is an autism advocate, and so she's going to be with us tonight. It is something that personally touches her, that has motivated her to be in this fight, in this awareness, hitting the ground, letting others know about it. And so she's going to talk to us tonight and share her experiences as well as information about an upcoming event she has for autism awareness. And so without further ado, we're going to bring on this dynamic lady, Miss Isla Angel.
Put your virtual hands together as she comes to the stage. Hello, Isla.
Hey,
We're
ladies.
so excited.
Yeah.
How are you?
I am wow. How are you tonight, ladies?
Amazing, amazing, amazing. And we can't wait to hear about the event. So make sure you got all your information. We're going to put the codes and things in the chat. So tell us a little bit about Miss Isla, Kiana.
Okay, so Miss Isla, at the tender age, was instilled in her to love and pour into the community. She spoke and attended many rallies with Baltimore's own Andre Bunley and Mr. Charlie Duggar, fighting for equal opportunity and resources for children in Baltimore City public schools. Another passion of hers is art, which I'm passionate about art myself. So she's a woman after my own heart. She was inspired by her grandmother, Lola Jenkins, affectionately known as Mama Lola, who was deeply rooted in the community, shifting and creating change, and her mom, Salah Jenkins, the ultimate artist, that required Isla Angel to follow her passions.
Awesome. And we have the amazing and not that I'm biased, but he is my brother, Matthew Reed, who was a native Baltimorean. He has seen the brightest and darkest parts of Baltimore. And I know this to be true because he was crazy enough to run for office. Frustrated by the lack and utter neglect of citywide resources, Matthew started the Reed Fund, a Baltimore-based not-for-profit that educates, advocates, and liberates families impacted by autism and sarcoidosis. I also am just so honored to be able to work with him and to be the upcoming mistress of ceremony for his April 2nd Education for All event. So let's welcome him to the stage, bringing on Mr. Matthew Reed. All right. And so we are excited. Matthew, can you hear us?
Yep, I can hear you guys.
Wonderful. Welcome, welcome. I always say when we're doing something great, challenges will come, adversities will come. But guess what? It just makes you want to do things even greater. So, Matthew, welcome. Tell us. There's some hosts in the house. There's some hosts in the house. There's some hosts. So, guys, listen, it's so funny. We've been having this show for almost 2 years now, right?
Yeah.
It'll be 2 years in July. And anybody that knows us knows that we are women who fight for perfection in every aspect of life. But they say if you want to make God laugh, you tell him what your plan is.
Yeah.
And so tonight we have some minor technical difficulties, but we're going to keep it rolling. And so, again, Matthew, tell us a little bit about sarcoidosis. I think that's one of the not so familiar terms.
Sure. Yeah, sure. So my mother was actually diagnosed with sarcoidosis when I was, I believe, in high school, middle school, and she had several challenges with it. And so primarily, it's a disease that can impact, your body, your breathing. It can impact different parts of your body. But for her, it primarily affected her breathing. And yeah, it was really kind of challenging seeing her go through that, and even now going through it as well. And it's primarily African American women are diagnosed with sarcoidosis. And similar to autism, there's a spectrum of sarcoidosis. It's not the same in every person. So I thought that it would be great to kind of, work on autism and sarcoidosis. I think more people are a little bit more familiar with autism than sarcoidosis. So it kind of always raises the question, well, what's sarcoidosis? Both of them impact my family. So I thought that it was great to talk about.
And we agree. We definitely think that when you have situations that directly impact, and it's an opportunity to also educate and help other families, it's a great, not that it's a great thing that it happened to your family, but it's a great thing that you picked up the mantle, picked up the hammer, like they said, and went to work. So we've had an opportunity to meet your mom. I hope that she'll be with us on the 2nd. So
Yeah,
anybody who wants to know more about okay, so tell us a little bit about the event that's April 2nd.
Sure. Yeah. So this Friday is actually World Autism Day. And it also begins National Sarcoidosis Awareness Month. So April is National Autism Awareness Month, as well as National Sarcoidosis Awareness Month. So both of their months are actually the same. So on Friday, City Hall will actually be lit blue and purple. Our organization organized that. Very exciting. For there to be awareness, to create awareness, but also we're holding a virtual event, online, COVID precautions, of course, to really bring on people in the community who have that are working to change the lives of those shaped by autism, that have resources to share a little bit about their story, and also to help us fundraise as well for our scholarship that we recently launched, that Tori helped us to kick off, as you mentioned, Education for All. So yeah, we're really excited for it. And we're just excited for this whole month. We have a couple of things coming up, so it's exciting.
Awesome. And Isla, we're excited to make this connection with you and Matthew. When we first saw your event posted by our amazing sister Tatiana, I think I commented for you two to connect. So there may be an opportunity for you and Matthew to connect. So tell us a little bit about your event and how we can register, how we can support.
Absolutely. So basically, I have a very personal experience with autism. My daughter was diagnosed right before she was 2, and the show is so important because it all ties into each other with mental health and autism awareness. It is very important to cater to your mental health, because when I first found out the diagnosis, I was not having it. Like, I was in denial. And it transitioned to more of a depression in a sense, because it was the unknown. I didn't know what it was. I was in advanced academics my entire life. So I'm like, wait a minute, my daughter's not going to be a mini me. But that was the ignorance in me, right? And I moved to a space of celebrating her diagnosis, and to get to a space where I can be in her world, because she's already learned to be in mine, as my mother always says. So the event was birthed from my daughter and the journey that we've been in. And I'm also in entertainment and production, so in the arts. So I just mixed it all together. So we're doing a lip sync battle for autism. We are raising awareness and raising funds for research and resources. Although I like to call it edutainment, because we're definitely going to entertain you, but we're going to educate you as well on the importance of early detection. What is autism? What are the signs? What are the resources out there? And a big thing I like to, I can't impose religion or anything on anyone, but prayer was major in my journey with my child. And my pastor, Apostle John, how you doing, honey? Definitely major prayer, a major prayer about a year ago. He was doing a prayer on children with infirmities, right? And then the prayer shifted to autism for some reason. I can't think why, but he prays so hard for children that are experiencing the condition autism. And I lied to you, my daughter was nonverbal. She started speaking not even 2 weeks later. And because of the resources that we received from, I'm not sure if people know because it's a hidden gem, but Baltimore Infants and Toddlers, they offer on Drew Hill, they offer free services, speech, occupational, special needs services for children with autism. And so this is what we're bringing to the event, not just not just entertainment, but the education and the resources that are out there. So we're partnering with different autism associations. We're working on getting Autism Speaks to partner with us. Have a meeting with them this week, and we're just on it. We're just celebrating the diagnosis. We're celebrating the condition, and we're celebrating awareness this month.
Awesome.
Well, we definitely, appreciate both of your stories, and give, just honoring you and what you guys are doing to be touched. And like we said, this is also dear to us. It's personal to us. And so I have a nephew who's autistic. And, I remember early on, the early diagnosis. And, for my sister, just all the time looking at her and, just how awesome, that she did. Much like you, I'm sure, Isla, it's like having that feeling. And so, just continue with that line and just, honoring those and really just looking at those people who, the parents out there understanding, we're talking about mental health as well. And you mentioning, that feeling like, wait a minute, I feel like I'm, going through depression, because of this and getting something like that. And I'm sure there are others out there who are feeling what you have felt. And so, it is an honor for you just to be able to help them. And so, like you said, raising funds for research and resources, and so we commend you for that. And also, Matthew, commend you for what you're doing as well, in honor of, your mom and your sister. And so just, again, just commend you guys for what you're doing. We know the support that is needed. So for any of those out there where you have family members, who are dealing, whether it be a sibling or a child who, have autism, give them support. There are support networks out there, and just making sure people are getting that support that they need.
Yeah. So I want to jump in and kind of, since we talk about mental health as well, direct this to Alice specifically. Well, actually, I'm going to change the question, but you both can answer. There used to be reports that said autism affected boys, so baby boys.
Yes.
And there was this misnomer that little girls, especially Black little girls, didn't get autism, right? Weren't diagnosed as autistic children.
Yeah.
How has that misnomer helped shape the work that you do? And then what mental health escapes or things that you use to kind of outside of prayer? Not that there's a lot outside of prayer, because we love the Lord, and anybody knows us know we love God,
Okay.
and we will pray it down. Okay. But how do you, when you need to recharge, what do you do? So that's two different questions. How did you work against the stigma and the misnomer that little girls can't be autistic? And then what do you do for your own mental health?
Yes. So for me, I just spend it into a positive. I'm just saying my daughter is double unique. And she I can't wait till you guys get to meet her. She's everything. How I escape, I'm an artist. So how I escape is art. And my daughter, she has an affinity to music, and I do as well. So we identify with that together. But art, writing, believe it, there's a stigma with therapy, but therapy, all of those things have helped me to cope and to get into a space when it's just very stressful, because being a parent of a child with autism, it requires a lot of patience. So you have to make sure that this is okay. And so for me, I go into a space where I can create, so I can get my mind right.
Makes sense. We want to give a shout out to Jamonica. Hey, cuz, thank you so much for tuning in. We see that she's also acknowledging both of you guys. And she said, beautiful stories. Thanks for letting us in.
Thank
And
you.
so, Matthew, I'm going to toss the ball to you. Having a parent who has been sick, having a parent who was diagnosed with sarcoidosis, especially a mom, right? Sons and their mothers. We both have sons. We know how boys are about their moms. How has your work helped combat like the stigma? And then what do you do for your mental health?
Sure. So your first question around, autism in women and girls, it's proven that more boys and men actually get diagnosed with autism at an earlier rate than women and girls. And so, when my mother would come to me and say, they won't diagnose your sister with autism, in my mind, I was thinking, what is the issue, right? Like, what is the issue with the diagnosis, and why is she not getting diagnosed? Because clearly she does have autism, right? And so that was my first question. But, me doing some more research on it, I'm like, wow, like, with girls and women, they assume because, there's a spectrum that because she, I guess there's terms around high functioning and low functioning and all these different things, that because she was on a different spectrum that it couldn't be autism, right? And so we actually had to go to several different doctors in order to get a diagnosis, right? A Black woman, we had to go to a Black doctor, right? And so I'm thankful we had, that access and that opportunity. Everyone can't choose their doctor, right? Like that's a level of privilege where you can choose your doctor. So that's the first part of how we kind of did that. The second part of how I recharge is really just, a lot of it is putting my phone on Do Not Disturb. I love that. It's really my greatest form of self-care.
Yes.
Really my greatest form of self-care is just, and honestly, I'm just coming into it really, like during this pandemic, I feel like I've come into my greatest form of self-care, right? Like not having to answer a text message because it comes, or, just operating at a level which I've never really operated at in terms of, balancing everything. And, but I think a part of it is like exercising. I really, didn't realize how, endorphins are, how many, endorphins are, I guess, put out there when you do exercise, when you do, just take a simple walk around the block, different things like that, I think really helped me to decompress. Just, if I'm feeling like a lot is going on, you know what? Again, put my phone on Do Not Disturb, and I'll just take a walk around the block. I'll talk to people that I care about. I think that is a great way, for me to kind of put the work into perspective. If I have a conversation with people I care about, they're like, look, Matthew, like, you know, this can wait. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. Like, yeah, like I think like having people that like hold you accountable for your self-care too. And yeah, just knowing that you don't have to, the last point is just me coming to a space of knowing that you don't have to solve everything overnight, right? Like every day, as long as you're doing some sort of progress, you know, progress over perfection, you're, you know, slowly gaining it, right? Like the organization doesn't have to be this huge thing tomorrow, right? Like as long as there's some, you know, slow progress that's being made, there's a difference that's being made, and not like saying, oh, we're not like this organization, or we're not this big, or we're not doing it. Like, no, like the little bit that you are doing, you know, is going to compound into something greater.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. So many good points there. Isla, tell us again, we know you want to raise money for the research and, you know, awareness. But tell us what supporters of the event, or anyone who just wants to donate, what they can expect to walk away with. And I want to give a shout out to Carlton Cobb, who is watching. So thank you, Carlton, for tuning in to the Connected Corner. So Isla, someone says, you know what, I want to learn more. I want to come and support this young lady's organization. What can they expect to walk away with?
Okay. So the main goal is the resources and the education. We suffer due to lack of knowledge. And so with that being said, my daughter has a speedy progression because of the knowledge that I have. So I have the Baltimore Autism Society involved. I will have a resource table available to all guests that attend, with takeaways, with resources, even with outside of autism. I'm talking about utility assistance, job assistance. It is a resource pool that they will be able to take away from my event. Not just a good time, a good knee slap, a laugh here, a clap there, but a resource pool that outside of autism. But the catalyst of the event started with autism awareness and bringing the resources to the forefront that helped me.
Awesome. And Matthew, if someone says, I want to give the scholarships, I've given the scholarships before, I don't really know if the people actually are even going to get the money that I'm donating, what would you say to them? How can they trust that the scholarship participants or recipients are actually who you say they are?
Sure. 100% of our organization is ran right now off of individual donations. So, we're all volunteer based at this point. And so all of the money goes to the scholars, and we'll be announcing them in May, and we'll probably do an event to recognize them and honor them in June. But yeah, all of it goes towards their education to better themselves. And yeah, we volunteer-based organization, and all the money that is raised goes towards the scholarships, and people can when we're in the process now interviewing, but we'll put it out there. We communicate with our donors around what we're doing and our progress and our updates, and so you can definitely know that all of the funds are going to that. And especially now in this virtual environment, we don't have space, right? Like, so we don't have to purchase things, etc. So all the funds go to the scholars.
Awesome. Thank you. We want to give a shout out to DJ Diamond K, Mr. Dwayne Diamond K Williams. His comment was, thank you so much for sharing. This is a great conversation that needs to be had. Much love to the Connected Corner, and much love to you. For anyone who is not currently subscribed to our YouTube channel, please go to youtube.com and type in the Connected Corner. If you are watching this on the replay, type in replay in your comments. If you're watching us on Facebook, let us know you're on Facebook. Also, follow us on Instagram and Facebook at The Connected Corner. It is spelled phonetically. There's no hidden Z's or K's.
Absolutely. And if you want to share your story, much like Matthew and Isla is doing tonight, whether it be around mental health, if you're a community leader or connector, and you want to share your story on the Connected Corner and be a guest, email us at bcg.manage@gmail.com. That's bcg.manage@gmail.com. And so again, I just, just hand clap, put the virtual hand claps in the comments. From Matthew and Isla, we commend you for what you are doing, and definitely knowledge is power. We have a various of family members, friends, extended family who are on the spectrum, and based on your knowledge and based on what you know and based on your acceptance, of that diagnosis makes a difference in that child's life. So in our family, we have, Gabe was 17. We have a 17-year-old. We have a little cousin that's 13. And then, also an adult. Watching just the difference, and again, that spectrum, because they're all at different places on the spectrum, and they're all at different places based on what was poured into them and the knowledge and the education and the program and things like that and support that they receive. And so it definitely makes a difference. So thank you guys for what you're doing.
Yep. Give a shout out to Daniel Crump. Thank you, Daniel, for your virtual hand claps. We appreciate that. And so we want to make sure you guys hear us when we say we expect to see every person who is watching, every person who is tuned in, supporting both of these amazing individuals and their events. We also want to say hey to Dion Larman. Hey there. He said hi to Matthew. He actually said hi to all of us. I know he didn't just say hi to Matthew. He said, hey, y'all. And so what we want to make sure that people hear is not only that these two amazing organizations are having events, but that we are trying our very best to bring them in connection to one another. Yes. We also know Derek Dixon, who is the founder of 3D Production. And if you've ever been to the Palladium, he is the building manager and everything up there. Mr. Palladium, he has a Stomp the Runway for Autism event every year. We want to say hi to Antonia. Thank you for tuning in. And thank you, Dion. And so there are more and more Black and brown families who are coming forward who are saying we need help and we want to be a part of a larger community to get support. Isla, when your daughter was born, can you share her name with us? Do you mind sharing her name?
I do. I don't mind. I'm sorry. I don't mind. Her name is Zara Aaliyah.
Beautiful name. Yeah. What did you envision?
Oh, I'm sorry.
What did you envision? You said Zara Aaliyah?
Yeah.
What did you envision her becoming as an adult?
Okay. So, funny story. I cried when I found out the sex of my baby because I just wanted a boy. I wanted a boy so bad, right? So I cried, but then I said, you know what? She's going to be a mini me. And so I wasn't always the most popular girl in school, but I was always the smart girl in school. So I just said, my baby is just going to be a genius. She's going to be a me. And so that's what I ultimately envisioned for her. And she still has the opportunity to be that. She just navigates this world in a different way. But I initially envisioned her being just like me.
Okay. And she is. And as she gets older, are you seeing more and more how she is like you?
I'm gonna be honest with you. Zara is really her own person.
Okay.
I mean, really, people don't know this about me, but I'm shy. I'm very shy. My daughter is very outgoing. She's very loving. She picks up on energy. So if you're feeling sad, she's going to come over there and give you a hug. She said, she's gonna love up on him.
Mhm.
She's really just a bright star. Like, I mean, that's really all I can say. Anybody that comes across her and her path, they gravitate towards my child.
Mhm.
And she's
And so I asked you that specifically because that is a shared experience that probably every mother, regardless if your child has been diagnosed with autism or not, and there's someone watching us who is currently pregnant or wants to be a mother, and what we're sharing with them is your child never is who you want them to be. That is an expectation that we put on our children,
Yeah.
and that we put on ourselves.
Yeah.
I was told a few years ago, and I have a almost 13-year-old now, who he ain't on the spectrum, but he is on something. he works on my nerve.
Okay.
And I was told a few years ago that we don't get the child we want. We get the child God wants for us. And so I'm sharing that to say that not only are you now a part of the Connected Corner family, but for anybody who's listening who may be pregnant, may have a child currently, may have a child that's autistic, or maybe questioning whether or not their child should be tested for autism, remember that you get the child that you are capable of caring for.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not the child that we want, right? Like, my son is not autistic, but he will not pick up a book unless I write his name in the pages and put $20 bills between the pages, which is extremely different from all of us.
And he's fanatical about crazy. So I don't know. We I don't know if it should be a joke or we should say this publicly, but in our family, we say all of us are on the spectrum. Some of us just are different. And sometimes because it comes out like just some of the different things. It's like, what am I doing? And so that speaks to a little bit when people say, well, is it genetic? Is it this? Some say, it's the vaccinations that kids get between, up until that 24 month time. And so there still is research. So what you guys are doing is needed because it's still research that's needed because we really don't know all the facts. Right now about it. And so this is important, as Diamond K mentioned, to have these conversations to make people aware so that, they can help, make people more aware, get the knowledge that's needed, because we don't currently in 2021 have all the facts.
Exactly. Very true. Very true. So Matthew, we're going to toss this one to you. What do you hope to accomplish with the event on Friday? So anybody walking away, they say, you know what, I want to continue to serve in this way. How can they do so?
Sure. We really want people to, the way that I view it and the way that I view awareness is that, people that are diagnosed with autism are just regular people, right? It doesn't, we put these labels on it, but I think I really want people to walk away knowing that, it's okay to have a conversation. It's okay to talk about it. And it's okay to, really, it's okay to have these difficult conversations with family members that might not receive it as well, right? And we know that, particularly in our community, that it's always like, oh, this person's just a little different or a little special, or, using very offensive words. And I think that, coming out of this event, I really want people to have a greater understanding, a greater awareness. But I also want really people to engage with people who are actually on the autistic spectrum. I realize that I don't have autism, but I think that it's so critical that people engage with, I'm excited for people to meet Joy Johnson, founder of the Black Spectrum Fund, a Black woman who has autism, right? And speaking with her, like, quote unquote, you wouldn't know, right? And so I think that it's so important. And she doesn't yes, she's the autistic advocate, but I think it's important for people to see the other side too. Like, okay, like she's leading an organization, like she's a leader. And to see people with special needs and leading capabilities and not just a quote unquote low performing job, or picking up the trash, or doing something that doesn't require a high level of, quote unquote intelligence, but that you started your own company, you're leading a company, and you're making a huge difference in the world. And people are coming to you for answers, not just about autism, not just about, they're coming to you for answers and solutions, not just you're the Black person in the room that has autism, but people are actually coming to you as a respectable person in your profession, as an engineer, as a businessman, as a businesswoman, as a leader. And I think that that's so important for people to see. And coming out of that event, that's what I want people to see is, wow, people that are diagnosed with autism are leaders, right? And they're not left behind, right? We should actually be coming to them for answers for major problems, and not just doing jobs that, like anyone could possibly do, right? Like, let's just think at a higher level. And that's what I really want people to leave that event knowing.
Wonderful. Just want to shout out to your mom. Hey, Miss Roxanne Reed. She's watching. She's in the house. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is the Connected Corner. Anybody who's watching us, please make sure you are following us on social media and subscribe to our YouTube channel at The Connected Corner.
Absolutely. So we have a segment. It's Kiana Key question. Yes, Kiana Key, right? I like that. And so I'm going to ask one of the questions and throw it out. And then we have 2 minutes. We have our little timer here that we use for both of you guys to answer the question. And so it is, what is one thing about the work you do that puts a smile on your face every time?
And we'll start with Isla.
Okay, ladies first. Okay, really quick. What I do that puts a smile on my face is connecting with people. Connecting with people, making those connections is what puts a smile on my face. Encouraging people is what put a smile on my face, that I can encourage from my own personal pain, my own personal past. Educating people puts a smile on my face. I want my people to go up and up and up. So if I know something, you're going to know something. So that is what I do that puts a smile on my face.
Awesome. 30 seconds.
Go ahead, Miss Shy. That don't sound like a shy person. Right. But go ahead.
All right, Matthew, it's your turn. Kiana will reread the question.
What is one thing about the...
I think she cut out here.
About the work that you do that puts a smile on your face.
Okay.
Yeah.
Should I wait till she comes back, or?
I thought they said keep going.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so I think if I were to say one thing that puts a smile on my face, I would definitely say the random, well, I shouldn't say random, but the great messages that I receive probably on a weekly basis, to be able to just talk with someone and someone telling me their story, I think is the most powerful thing for me, and people entrusting me with their own personal journey and their own personal story. I think that's probably the most rewarding. But sometimes it's the most, heartbreaking too, just all the information that you're consuming and knowing that you want to do something, but you're only one person. You have a limited amount of resources, you have a limited amount of time, but it also fuels me to want to do even more, right? So I think that listening to people's stories, like you said, and also just learning from people about how we can better do what we do is probably the best part of my day. It puts a smile on my face.
That's amazing, and that is good, and it is like 6 in one hand and half a dozen on the other, because while hearing the stories and getting the feedback, sometimes you can wear it deeply in your heart, right? Yeah. So I appreciate both of you guys' answer, and you're gonna answer what puts a smile on your face, Kim?
Well, I was to me, what puts a smile is that light bulb that goes off, for the people. If, whether I'm teaching or training or tutoring for math, or, my clients, teaching them how to read their tax return, anything that to me is giving that knowledge. Like I said, I told you, Isla and I, we're soul sisters, soulmates, but giving that knowledge and information and teaching others and watching that light bulb, that them having that eye movement, puts a smile on my face.
Awesome. Audience, we want to hear from you as well. Put your comments in. Let us know what puts a smile on your face, what makes you happy. I know as you guys were talking, I was thinking about someone I had managed a few years ago, and the federal government gets hiring authorities. One of those hiring authorities is to make sure that we are keeping equitable workplaces by also hiring Americans with disabilities. And so they don't always tell you, they don't have to tell you, if the person does not disclose their information. But I had a young man that I just initially it connected, and he was a genius, and his brain was like a computer. And the more I worked with him and, started to understand certain things, he shared with me that he had Asperger's. And that, supervising someone in a technical world or managing a technical workload is not easy. You're talking about numbers and things like this. He would be the first person done his workload, his cases, his numbers would be to the penny each and every time. And so I found myself coming to work for him. Like, I was excited just to be around someone to tap into his brain power in that way. And I think I'm socially awkward as well, so we got along just fine.
It's about the education. Something that Matthew talked about, and Isla as well, is that not pigeonholing or thinking because a person is on the spectrum that they can't do something, where you just want to give them mundane work. That is ignorance and a lack of knowledge, and not understanding that they are some of the most brilliant, most intelligent, and brightest people you will ever meet. My nephew was reading at 2 better than any of the cousins that were 4, 5, and 6 and 7 years older. And so, I taught GT geometry. And so having that opportunity, I will say GT geometry, 10 out of my 20 students were on medication. Right? At least 5, like you said, were on the spectrum. And so it was like trying to keep up and give them enough to do. I just had them reprogramming the scientific calculators, giving everybody an opportunity to just get up and teach, because, I'm the teacher, and I'm giving them a nuggets, but most of them were smarter than me, and so just understanding that, like, let's not pigeonhole, let's get the education and knowledge so we don't walk in ignorance.
Yes, and no tea and no shade to our other younger cousins, nieces, and nephews.
Right.
We love y'all. Comparison. I don't want anybody saying they ain't working for Beehive Connected Group. And so, we love y'all. And so before we wrap up, again, Isla, tell us the name of the event. Give us your website links where we can connect and support.
So I actually have an Eventbrite link. It is in every last one of my bios. So my Instagram name is THEE Isla ILA Angel. And the link for the Eventbrite is in the bio there. And then my Facebook is Isla Angel. And the link is there as well. I also have hard copy tickets. Bada bang. Okay. It is April 24th. The reason why I chose that is the last weekend in autism, and I want us to take it out with a bang. So it is April 24th. That's a Saturday from 6 to 9 p.m. It is at the La Familia Media Arts Center at 8:30. Yes, ma'am.
Shout out to Stevie Johnson.
Yes, Stevie.
The Johnsons, they're our brothers and sisters. We love them. Hi, Stevie.
Yeah.
I started gushing.
Yikes. Okay. Yeah, so it'll be at 836.
So we want to give a shout out to Michelle and Stevie, that we love them. And we will we continue to post about your event as well as Matthew's event. Matthew, tell us where can people find you again? What's your link, and how can they get connected to the event?
Sure. Yeah. So people can register for this event and another event that we have on April 29th as well, the Emerging Leaders Global Summit at reedsfund.org, REEDS Fund, FUND.org, and on Facebook, Reeds Fund, and on Instagram, Reeds Fund as well. So if you go on our website, you'll be able to just register. All of the events are free. We'd be happy to have you and to learn together in this COVID environment.
Awesome. Just want to shout out to your mom. Miss Roxanne says, my son Matthew puts a smile on my face, always advocating and bringing awareness to autism and sarcoidosis. She's a super proud mom. Aww. And as Matthew said, his event is free, but guess what? Ignorance costs. So guys, while the event is free, it costs to stay ignorant and unenlightened, especially on on such an important topic, right?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So just repeat, it's reedsfund.org to register for Matthew events that's coming up. And then Isla is Touched by Angel. And you can also search that on Eventbrite, and we'll drop the Eventbrite link for her event as well. And so we also want to acknowledge for you guys, Friday, April 2nd is World Autism Awareness Day. And so whoop, whoop to everybody. And so what are the colors? It's, you can do blue, that the blue is associated with it from Autism Speak. So they did the Light It Up Blue campaign. And so you can show your support for World Autism Day by rocking and lighting it up blue on Friday, April the 2nd. So make sure you support for that. And we want to say thank you to our guests, Matthew and Isla, again. We loved it. Again, you guys, we always want to provide you news and resources you can actually use. And so these two guests most certainly provided us with news, with resources, and education tonight as well. And so if you're watching on a replay, let us know. If you're watching now, you missed something, you can go back and watch it on a replay still and get it. And then all the links and stuff are in the comments. So tell us, Tori, how can we find you?
Find me at Tori Rose the Connector on Instagram, and find me at Tori Rose or Tori Rose the Connector on Facebook. I'm actually about to start being a better tweeter. So find me on Twitter at Tori Rose TC.
Absolutely. And you can find me, Kiana B. Jones, across all social media, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And thank you to all our viewers, all our fans. Thank you for everybody who comes back week after week after week. We appreciate you so much. Thank you. And
God bless. This has been the Connected Corner. Check us out on YouTube and Facebook. We appreciate you guys, and have an amazing night.
God bless and good night.
Good night.
You guys stay for a second.